Are you not burning out?
All right, it is my honor to be able to welcome our class of 2020 from our FBCA youth program. One more round of applause. The first time we've ever done this. So it's going to be the best one we've ever done like this. For the first time in over 33 years at least, we are not at Caswell Beach this weekend. And so it's one more thing our senior class is missing. But it's so wonderful to be able to do something else together while still being very precautious with all of our necessary safety and health precautions, and yet still do something together to commemorate where they are in this really significant threshold. This is not really about their high school graduation. It's really about their journey beyond the youth group. So we're so glad that you are here to show your support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for bearing with us. If any technical glitches come, we're just going to keep going, and if you need to get where you can see or hear better, you can do so. But otherwise, we're going to be capturing this on a video, so we'll have another way to share this. If you have folks in your family that could not come out here today, we'll have a way you can share this event with them in the coming weeks and years. So here's what's going to happen. Our seniors are going to sit just like this, lovely as they are, and we're going to have a chance for all of them to come and share a senior speech. Now, this is something they typically do in a small room at Caswell, where most of you are nowhere near. So it may be a bit nerve-wracking for them, but they're going to be great because the senior speech is just about who they are and some of their thoughts about their relationship with Christ in this current moment of their lives. So they will do that. They'll alternate mics for that. After that, we'll have adults from our youth programs, some of our different leaders and volunteers that will come and offer a word of blessing on each of their behalf. This is also something that's typically done at Caswell, and that adult will probably have their blessing in words that they will put in their baskets. And then we'll have some younger youth come by and give them their sweatshirts. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about that at that time. But I want to make sure you know two people before I read their names. One is Courtney Hall. She is doing our sound and video. So if you see somebody running around the camera, that's Courtney, and we're so grateful for your help, Courtney. The other one is new. She's our summer intern. What a great time to be a summer intern in a new church than doing this kind of event. So Annie Deaton is over here. Step into the sunlight, Annie. Annie grew up at First Baptist Greenville. She is currently a divinity school student at Gardner-Webb. She has done summer internships at multiple churches, as well as a summer mission experience working with a nonprofit outside of Atlanta. She has a vast skill set and just a wonderful presence that our youth will get to know over the summer. This is her very first day with the youth, her very first thing. But I thought it's wonderful because she gets to be a part of this really unique time, and it's going to be wonderful for her and for us to do this together. So with that, I'm going to offer a word of prayer, and then I'm going to read their names in case you don't know who any of them are. And then at that point, youth, you'll take it away, okay? Let's give thanks to God for this wonderful day. God, we give you thanks for the ability to come together. We give you thanks that even as we physically are at distance from each other, we are spiritually connected. We are still tethered and connected as the body of Christ. We thank you that the love that we know through Christ is a love that does not get defined by physical distance. It's not measured in inches and feet. It's measured in some other mysterious ways. And so we thank you that we can come here and celebrate these youth, these wonderful seniors who have shared their lives together in this place. Some of them have done this their whole lives, and others have been grafted on more recently. And how beautiful that we can all be together for those who've just come a few months ago, for those who started out as babies. We can be here on the front of the steps in this unique and unforeseen time, and yet to be doing this together. We give you thanks that we can do this, that we can be nurturing them in love and grace, because it reminds us that's what the church is supposed to be. So thank you for this demonstration of our church here embodied through these youth. We give thanks for their lives, and you pray your continued blessings on them well after they leave this threshold to wherever you lead them. May you continue to guide them and uphold them, and may they always know of our love and care for them. We ask all this in Christ's name, who taught us how to love. So the names, and I'm gonna read them all, and then you can do your honks one more time so they know you're still here, and then they'll begin their senior speeches. So from my side, working that way, Anna Rose Bourne, Sam Burchett, David Corlito Morel, Catherine Davis, Hannah Ingalls, Wesley Garvey, Nicholas Lovin, Molly May, James Sills, and Claire Spake.
Okay, this is nerve-wracking. I'm Anna Rose, and for one of Casey's prompts that he wrote in our email to us was, what are some lessons from your spiritual journey that seem most speak up? Sorry. Spiritual journey that seem most crucial for the next stage in life. Good? Okay. So as I'm heading into college, I've been thinking about what I have learned from my spiritual journey and how I can bring it into what's next. And the first lesson I thought of is to be flexible and adaptable. My family has always been one of a strong faith, so going to church was something that we'd always done. Going to church was a routine and something that I did without thinking twice about it. So I went through the motions and didn't really make my faith my own. I didn't really realize that until we decided to switch churches, which was new for me. And that was something that I didn't see coming. But I learned to go with the flow, and it ended up all working out. Looking for a new church and then eventually coming to First Baptist made me realize how important it is to get connected and involved. But that was initially very hard for me. It took me leaning into my faith to realize that I would have to put myself out there in order to connect with the youth group. That paid off, but it took lots of time for me to adapt. I would come home from youth exhausted because I was spending lots of energy trying to connect with others. It became gradually easier, and eventually I didn't have to think about it. It took me changing the way I thought about my faith to connect into the First Baptist community, and I think the same will go for when I go into college. I will have to discover a new faith community, and that will take lots of flexibility, but it'll be worth it. The second lesson I learned is to challenge myself. The safe space for me in my faith has always been my summer camp, Camp Crestridge for Girls. Every time I go, I'm surrounded by so many friends who love the Lord and are actively seeking Him. Camp is a place where I feel like I can, in a way, recharge my faith and continue to challenge my spiritual journey. For example, a few years ago, I took part in what is called the Bell Challenge, which is a faith-based challenge. It includes a 12-hour silence band, a 3-hour fire, a timed hike, lots of essays, manual labor, and more. Participating in this challenge was one of the most rewarding and hardest things that I've ever done because it put me in an uncomfortable position with my faith. I had 12 hours of silence to pray to the Lord, which is something I'd never experienced before. Challenging myself has always been a staple of my faith because it keeps me from getting stuck in a rut. In the next stage of my life in college and beyond, I hope to find ways that I will be able to challenge myself. I've experienced many lessons through this church from my spiritual journey, but these are a few highlights to share, and I'm very thankful for the experiences I've had here. Thank you.
Hello, fellow survivors. It's good to see you all here today. Thank you to Mr. Callahan for having us all out here. I honestly haven't been at this church for very long, so I may not know or have learned as much as many of my other fellow seniors. But what I have learned is that this church cares for those who haven't been there for very long, even though they might not know them that much. As for my spiritual journey, even in these times, I've learned to be thankful, especially as an introvert, now that my isolation is not only my current state, but it is also patriotic. I'm thankful for cheap gas nowadays and the resurgence of our toilet paper supply, I'm thankful for all those who have been here. So, thank you.
Yeah, yes.
Hello, my name is David, and one of the prompts that Casey gave us to do was how is your own story connected to the ancient and ongoing story of God? My life is a story. It began the moment I drew my first breath, and it is still being written. I may not know how my own story began, but I do know that my story is part of an even bigger story. At the age of 2, I began to learn about God and the Bible, but I never imagined that my own story was part of an even bigger story. It wasn't until I was 12 that I began to realize that the Bible is the grand story of God and the people He created, and that makes it my story too. I knew that the Bible is the story of God and the people He created at a young age, but I never imagined it being my story as well. Although the Bible ends with the book of Revelation, the ancient and ongoing story of God is not finished yet. My place in the story is to live in constant fellowship with God and to pursue His will for each moment. To attune myself to the language of the Holy Spirit, to boast only in the cross of Christ, to integrate with other believers in the community of God, also that I may participate in the story of the church, making disciples of all nations until the end of time. I already know how the ancient and ongoing story of God, which is also my story, is going to end. It will end with the devil burning in the lake of fire forever, and there will be a new heaven and a new earth.
Hello. I should have prepared something. I didn't know everyone else was going to do that. I'm Catherine. I should be good at this because I perform stand-up comedy. Let's be honest, so I'm not going to grace your ears with that failure right now. But with that, I'm going to just stand. This works. So with that, everyone kind of thinks that I'm going to be this like super person who doesn't care what others think of me because I make fun of myself a lot. And the truth is, I didn't always do that, even though I've always been someone who's really loved making people laugh. I swear this has something to do with my faith. It's coming. But I spent so much time in my life, and still do, with worrying that everyone around me secretly hates me. And I'd have friends who were lifelong friends, and I'd secretly say in my head, oh, well, they don't really like me, they're just hanging out with me out of pity, or they don't want to be around me. And that's a kind of hard way to grow up, because you don't really expand your horizons to people. And then I moved to FBCA my 7th grade year, and it was not the easiest transition. I was not very open to change, but my mother brought me here, so I came. And I met all these really great people who are around me right now, and who, if you ask them, I'm definitely the joke of our grade. So this is going to sound bad, but by making fun of me a lot, and I mean a lot, like all the time, they kind of taught me to like accept myself for who I am, because when I spend so much time thinking like, oh, I either have to be like kind of funny to like make these people like me, or be like that cool person, you know, that like you see on TV. I don't know, like I don't know what that is.
but this is really bad. They when I was myself here and I started being open to that, they make fun of me for saying, for example, like family and channel. I can't help but say that. And for getting attacked by fire, it's a Caswell. True story, there are many more. But by doing that and making fun of all these failures that I had that I thought had to be needed to be hidden, I realized that these parts of me that are so different than everyone else and might make me stand out are actually something that people can love me for. And I realized that people here like me for who I was and not the person I was trying to be. So how that relates to faith. So I'd always had I should be better at public things. So I always had like a kind of rocky relationship with God because of this. I was like, if no one likes me, then why would God put me on earth? That's kind of dumb. And even like I went to Camp Kiser as well with Anna Rose, and even there, when I was surrounded by so many people of faith, I'd just be thinking, well, their faith is so much better than me. They wouldn't want to hang out with someone like me who's like flawed and hasn't accepted Christ or whatever. Or I'd be at church and thinking like these people are so much better than me. And so that kind of just put this rift between me and God, because even in these places that are supposed to like grow my faith, I allowed it to be almost a competition with everyone else that I never admitted, which is not good. I don't recommend it. But thanks to like all these amazing people here who are really like, they're my family, they're my best friends. I don't know if they know that. I try to say it a lot, but I've kind of realized that there's a way to do it, and like God doesn't make you be perfect, and you can have a different idea than someone else and not have as strong a faith as someone else and still be like just as worthy. It's your life, it's your story, just go out and do it. So now I feel very confident going to college at Bourne, which is something that always scared me, because I was like, I'm never gonna make friends at college, I'm just gonna be this like loser in the dorms, because they just like all these people were just so loving and accepting of my flaws and the really weird things I say, not meaning to, but just out of my own stupidity. I've kind of learned that I can just be like that and it'll be fine when I go, because I'll find people who care about me and I don't need to be what I think others want me to be. So I'm very sorry that was very rambling, but I did not know I should have prepared something, so thank you.
Hi, I'm Hannah. So similar to Catherine, I am very self-conscious of my relationships with other people. I and my family and I have been members of 5 churches in my 17, 18 years of life. And this is the first one that I truly felt like I've had friends. So when I was in 9th grade, I had to write a speech very similar to this in a process called confirmation. And as I was writing this, I went back and I read that statement. In a very dark time of my life, my words were very angry and very doubtful of my relationship with God. I had no friends at church and a very small handful of friends at school, and I was very, very lonely. Over the course of the next year, I was pulled in by an older youth who I went to school with that was a member of this church. And he pushed me out of my comfort zone to come to some Sunday night stuff here at First Baptist. About a year after I'd written that statement of anger, I found myself at Caswell surrounded by these people. And I am very grateful that I was pushed to go. Having spent years fighting depression and anxiety, I have never been one to feel confident in who I am and how others perceive me. And that really came to head last year at Caswell. It was after our rites of passage last year, after we had said goodbye to the seniors last year, I found myself pulling away from the group. I ended up on the porch, curled up in a rocking chair, under the stars, just looking up. I'd wandered away, thinking no one would care and no one would notice. I put in some earbuds and I hit shuffle, and the first song that played was a song called You Say by Lauren Daigle. chorus is, you say I am loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I am strong when I think I am weak. You say I am held when I am falling short. And when I don't belong, you say I am yours. And I believe what you say of me. And it was minutes after that song ended that a group of girls walked up and found me on the porch and pulled me back in to the larger group. And it was in that moment that I felt God put their arms around me and say, you are home, you are loved, you belong. Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. My faith journey, as many of you know, has been very rocky. And I would love to say that these past few months, it has stayed strong, but at times, it has fallen. My life, I have not been able to do many things normal. And this is just one more to add to the books. My brother graduated in 2016. I got to watch him do his Rite passage at Caswell. It was a very special moment for him. And I'm kind of jealous that he got to go through this. But thanks to Casey and all of you, you're filling that hole. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. God and me haven't always gotten along. And I used to believe it was his fault, that he was pushing me away, but I was pushing him away. And I still do. I'm not perfect, and I never will be. I come across so many challenges, and I always resort to pushing him away. Last year in March, I had to put my dog down. He was diagnosed with cancer. This was the same dog that we had adopted during my fight with cancer. And for a while, I did not believe in God again. Because I found it a cruel joke that one of the few things that brought me happiness in my time of struggle was taken away by a similar disease. I was just going to stand, coming to church, but these people made me feel welcome. I met Casey at a Chick-fil-A, and we talked for hours. And because of that, I was able to start letting God back in my life. For that, thank you, Casey. But because of all those challenges, and through all that hardship, I know that I can always find my way back to God. These next few years, I'll be leaving the place that I call home. Now granted, it's just an hour and 20 minutes away, but still. But I know that even if I don't find God there, or I lose touch with God, I know that I can always find my way back to him. And that is something that calms me down and brings joy in my life. And First Baptist has helped me find that. And I'm eternally grateful. Thank you all.
Until sixth grade. Sixth grade was changing my faith. This was when I really connected with my friends, church, and God. And even in the seventh grade, I connected with the church even more, and I finally felt like I belonged there. After 5 years, I've been a part of the group. I've made amazing friends and started to make something. The main lesson I've learned from this group is God is good or bad, God has a reason for everything. I experience this in everyday life, and one of the best examples I have is God helping me push through. So what's always had a big impact on me, around me, and I've done it my whole life. I'm corporal, and ever since freshman year, I've had a goal to break my school record. The first week, the office season brought me to the village to break the record with around 14 people. The reason this is so impactful is that I did not know at the time it would be my first or last meeting of high school. If it was not for everybody around me not helping me, right now, I'm not where I'm at right now. So I'd like to thank God, my friends, and my family.
Hey guys, I'm Molly. From a young age, I've always been involved in church. We grew up at First Baptist, and when my brother graduated high school in 2011, we switched over to what is now Miller Church. And I hated it. I was so mad at my parents for making me go, and I could not find connections there. I did not really make a lot of friends. Every day we went, I told my mom that I would never go back. And then a couple years later, my freshman year of high school, we were talking to someone else, and they were like, y'all should come back to First Baptist. We have a new pastor, it's really awesome. And my mom, for whatever reason, felt that that was calling enough to switch churches, and I'm really glad that she did. Coming in First Baptist, I knew people because I knew them from when I was younger, but I still felt kind of ostracized just because I hadn't grown up feeling everyone else had. And I was really freaked out. Within a month of me being there, my mom had signed me up to go on a 12-day mission trip to Cuba, and I cannot tell you how mad I was at her for that. I did not want to go to that. I was not friends with people enough to do that, but she made me go do it. And I've never been more thankful for anything in my life.
My high school journey has not exactly been easy. I found myself in a lot of dark places really frequently. Not feeling like I've ever come out of them. In October of 2018, I found myself in a mental hospital for a week. And that was the darkest time of my life. I felt so alone and I was so scared. But the thing I remember most is my visits from Casey and Laura. And it was amazing just having them come down and feeling so loved. And I've never felt more loved by anyone than I have by my family at First Baptist Nashville. I'm so incredibly thankful for them.
I guess it's my turn. Can everybody hear me? Sitting here listening to all my friends talk, it was really helpful for me, not only because I got to hear their faith journey, but I am ill prepared. I did not prepare much for this, but I think I'm gonna take this time to reflect on my decision to keep coming to First Baptist. And I'll just hit the main point, which is I don't think there is anywhere that a church or otherwise that would have put up with me like Casey Callahan has, and the other fantastic adults of First Baptist Church of Asheville. I would not have made it a week with anybody else. They would have sent me a timeout every single time I opened my mouth. I have made several jokes at Casey's expense, but it's all in love. I hope you know that. Thank you. I appreciate that. And that's really what I wanted to say. Is it's the people and the friends that I've made. The grade above me, when they graduated last year, I
had no idea what this year was going to look like for me. Since I started youth group and even in Kids Connect, I knew that I had the grade above me. Those were my guys. It was Jake and Patrick and Alec and that whole crew. But when I came here this year, not knowing what was going to happen, I was saved by the people that sit behind me. They really stepped up to the plate to be there when I needed friends, and very appreciative of that. I was on my phone, and I apologize, but it's not because I was being rude. It's because I needed to find a quote. Last year, to my thank you to the seniors last year, I said a quote from Forrest Gump, and I would like to bookend it with another quote. Just for some exposition, one of the things that I've struggled the most with is life after death and that entire mystery of what that entails. So I would like to share the quote from Forrest just talking to Jenny at the end of the movie, probably after this ends. He says, "I don't know if we each have a destiny or if we're all just floating around accidental like on a breeze. But I think maybe it's both. Maybe both is happening at the same time." And I find comfort in that quote because I spent a lot of time worrying about it. But then at the end, you don't have any control over it. So you got to accept the time that you have. And I guess that's all I have to say until I'm a disc jockey later. So that's all I got. Thanks, Casey.
Hi everyone, if you don't know me, I'm Claire. I guess you could say that my faith journey started here when I was a baby. My parents had been members here for a little while, so props to you guys. I was born into the church, so as you can imagine, I've spent a lot of time here. It's a place that I truly consider to be a second home. Everybody's always welcomed in love for who they are, and I think that's what makes it so special to me and everybody who attends. Growing up, I won't lie and say that I love coming to church. I wasn't the biggest fan. I have vivid memories of my parents having to wake me up during the service just because I'd fallen asleep out of boredom. I don't think I was ever old enough to understand the point of coming to church or necessarily praising a man who we couldn't physically see. I feel like as a young kid, that concept was just super foreign to me, and I didn't understand. I feel like all of that really seemed to change when I joined the youth group. Relationships quickly formed, retreats were taking place, and I was suddenly really excited to come to church on any given Sunday. Things were really starting to fall into place, and it was a really good feeling because I finally knew what all the rave was about. I'm going to kind of switch directions here and talk about my own relationship with God. I would never describe myself as someone who's been super open about my faith. And if you know me, I'm pretty open and chatty, so it's a little weird talking about it. When Kiser reminded us that we had to put together a faith story, it scared me because I haven't ever really shared with people other than the ones sitting behind me. I haven't really shared with other people about my own kind of faith story, so it's not necessarily because, or not at all because I'm ashamed or embarrassed about it, but I think it's because I don't really know where I stand with God. I know that He loves me, and of course I believe in Him, but I find myself doubting Him a lot more than I feel like I should. And I have to constantly tell myself that that's perfectly fine and okay. A question that I think a lot about is, why do bad things happen to good people? If God loves everyone unconditionally, then why is He putting people who have done nothing wrong or who don't deserve it through the toughest times? In the past year or two, that has been something that has been really hard to grasp for me. I find myself going to God in times of need more so than in times of joy or thanks. I ask Him for things that I want or that I want to happen. And I hate myself for that, honestly, because I should be thanking Him and praising Him for all the things that He's blessed us with. So I get on myself for that a lot. I'm a strong believer in the fact that everyone's relationship with God is different and things click at a different point in people's lives. I think that people have that kind of aha moment at some point, and that's when everything kind of comes together and seems to make sense with where you stand with God. I don't think I've necessarily had that big moment yet, but I believe I will have it in a time where I need Him most that has yet to come. When I reflect back on my time in the youth group, my mind automatically jumps to the people that I've been able to experience it with. The people in this youth group, especially the ones in my grade and who are sitting behind me, are easily my best friends. I feel like we can always turn to each other in times of need, in joy, and we'll always be there for each other. We've been through a lot of ups and downs, but it has made us 10 times closer and our relationship so pure. This church, these people, and the endless count of memories will always hold a really special place in my heart. So, thank you guys.
One tradition for those of you who haven't been to Caswell is that a different adult will speak to each senior. And this is an opportunity for us to share how they touched our lives. And for those of you who are speaking on behalf of any seniors, if you want to work your way on up here, you guys can hang out over here to the side. And I'll get started. Louder? All right, we'll do our best. Anna Rose, how are you? I'm good. I will tell you, usually the words flow easily for me, especially when I'm speaking to youth. I'm certainly an extrovert. I can say just about anything to anybody. But to be perfectly honest, I stressed over what to say to you. More than many that I've addressed in the past. You came to First Baptist because your parents felt that a change was needed for you and your sister. They were seeking something that you would enjoy and that would ground you with a solid Christian foundation. I don't know how much input you had in that decision, but I have two things to say about that. First, it had to be frightening to be the new kid and to witness a large group of older youth who are all so tight-knit. It's hard to break into that. And it's probably intimidating when you had to confront somebody like Casey. Second, and more importantly, I am so thankful that you found your way here. First Baptist Church adults who volunteer with you often discuss what things they're working on at Koinonia and in Sunday school. We give Casey feedback and we talk about ways to make everyone feel at home and a part of what we have here. I had difficulty reading you at first. You were so quiet. You stayed on the periphery, observing others, but not really engaging or speaking up. My own kids have chastised me about this because I'm so quick to speak. And quieter people have to find their own way and their own voice. More often than not, my kids know what they're talking about because I began to see you pull more and more into the group. I witnessed you having animated conversations with your peers, and I soon realized Anna Rose is going to be all right. And then, at a Wanata, no less, I witnessed you dancing and singing with all your friends. And I realized you had definitely found your voice and your place. You were one of us, even though your parents were Methodist. But Anna Rose, I do want to ask your forgiveness for one great misstep on my part. You will forgive me, right? Okay. Please forgive me for that arranged marriage stuff that we talked about. And I'm certain that your parents will be mighty pleased with whomever you choose to marry, as long as it's a D&D. Okay? Will, you tell them there, man. Okay, now, let's get serious. Anna Rose, you and the whole class of 2020, y'all made it through a spring that no one could imagine we would ever see. The fact is, your senior year made it a worse ordeal for you and your peers than most others have ever been through. You have to move on without some of the same closure that those that came before you had. Let's face it, while this is a wonderful gesture and lots of thought and love went into this event, it just isn't Caswell. Hopefully, your younger peers here will not have to graduate and move on in the way that you have. But here's what I know. You're ready. You do have that foundation that I mentioned earlier, along with leadership skills, wisdom, and this great support group to do whatever you want with your life. God formed you in His image. You are wonderfully made. You are richly blessed, and great things await you. As we wrap up the senior rites of passage and your youth chapter at First Baptist Church comes to a close, please take the time to reflect on how you've been changed. Think about all you've experienced, how you've grown, all the people who love you and always will be here for you. Look around at your friends sitting up here. They're more than just friends. They have become an extended family, and they're your brothers and sisters in Christ that will make themselves available to you whenever you need them. While you're at Wake Forest, and they are scattered all around the region, keep in mind, they're only a phone call, Snapchat, FaceTime, IM, etc. away from you. And I do know someone will be happy to give you a ride to church on Sundays. Go Dees.
I know this is very new to you, and you're getting the very different version of what normally happens. And I know you've only been here a short time, but well, I'm trying to be able to see you at the same time. Okay, thank you, Casey. All right, Sam. So anyway, you haven't been with us very long, but I'm really glad you're here. I remember the first time I noticed you was at the culmination of the Asheville Youth Project, when we all went over to that church just a few streets over to hear the Asheville Youth Choir sing. And I just remember when I noticed you, and I asked my daughter Emily, who's the new person? Because I noticed you because you seemed so engaged. You were smiling, really seemed to be having a good time with music and this type of thing. You seemed to be fitting in with others really well. So I'm glad you made it, and I'm glad that God has brought you here at this point in your life. And I'm sure He did a lot with you to get you to this point in your life. Your parents have said that you really have a lot of talents and gifts, including your sense of humor, which we saw a little bit about earlier, and your gift for running road races with your dad. I understand you've done quite a few in different places and stuff, and I admire that because I have not been able to keep that up. So I appreciate people that can. Additionally, I hear you have a love of science and academic skills, and your success has really suited you well. You've used all of those wonderful talents and gifts, to name just a few, to get you to where you are at this moment in your life. Your parents also say you have a love for the outdoors, including rock climbing. I hear you also have an interest in the environment and enjoying growing things. Your mom says that when you go and get your degree in aerospace engineering at Iowa State University, that maybe one day you'll actually meet that goal of growing things on Mars. And if you do, then I can say, we knew you then. You've used all of those wonderful talents and gifts and a lot of hard work to bring you to this moment in your life. And God has been with you all along the way. As Deuteronomy 31:8 says, the Lord Himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do do not be discouraged. So Sam, as you reach the culmination of this stage of your high school journey, know that you will always have the support and love of your First Baptist Church of Asheville community and family.
David, I knew your name before I met you in person. Now, that can be a good or bad thing depending on the situation, but in your case, it was good. I've been looking for some youth volunteers to help with Vacation Bible School, and I came across your name on the sign-up sheet. Of course, I was glad to see a new volunteer, but I admit it was hard to figure out what job to give you since I hadn't met you yet. So I did some asking around. What can you tell me about David Corlito Morel? I asked anyone whom I know. The responses I got went something like this. David's new here, but he's fit right in with us. He's really outgoing and funny. You could count on David to be ready to help. He always has a smile on his face. David, I've gotten to know you more since then, and you've proven yourself to be all these things and more. You're a man of many talents. Not only are you able to bring laughter to everyone in the room, but you can also play basketball while drinking a bottle of Coke better than anyone I've seen. I happen to know you're also very wise. Last year, I had the pleasure of having you in my small group at Caswell, where I witnessed firsthand the thoughtfulness you bring to the table, asking big questions that show wisdom beyond your years. I hope you continue to challenge yourself and others in this way. It's not an easy thing to enter a new group and develop your own identity there, but you've been able to do this, thanks in part to your humor, good spirits, and your generosity. These are all great qualities which will take you far, but you will still encounter challenges along the way. Ephesians 2:10 tells us, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." Let this continue to be a reminder to you of Christ's plans for you to do good works, and may it also remind you that you are a beloved child of God. As you transition beyond this youth group, keep this in your heart and mind. As you said so well on Youth Sunday, even though we may be separate, we are never alone because God is with us. David, you are truly a gift to everyone you meet, and I hope you never stop being yourself.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you again. I get the pleasure to be these fine people's Sunday school teacher with. I just have to say to all of you that we have missed you very, very much. Seeing you here right now makes me realize how big a part y'all have been of my life, and I just want to thank you for that. And I want to thank you for the words you just said and for the heart that you put behind it. And I want y'all to know that we love you and you always belong here. Our home is always open to any of you individually or as a group. So just thank you for showing up and for being who you are and for who you're going to become. So thanks. But I'm here to talk about Catherine. So I'm probably not supposed to touch the mic, sorry about that. So, Catherine, it's me, Mr. Bourne. You and I have known each other for your entire life. So we know each other very well. And it's going to be really easy for me to describe all very positive blessings that I know that God has given you. And so I want you to hear these, because these are coming right from my heart. Now, maybe you're not seeing them, but I see them every day and every time I see them. Intelligence. There's no doubt about that. Confidence. Right? Sincerity, beauty, wittiness, resourcefulness, honesty, forthrightness, and I was only supposed to say 200 words, so I have to cut off the list somewhere, but one word has popped up stronger than any other word ever since I've known you. And that word is determined. Because if you've got all those other positive qualities, it really doesn't matter if you're not determined. Girl, you've got determinedness in spades. And it is so great to see you put that to work. So, I love this trait in you. It means so much to me to see how you have faced your challenges with that determinedness. And you have the biggest heart. And I just want you to know that I believe in you and that I deeply care for you. I consider you one of my own, as part of my family. It's going to be hard to not see you all the time. And I just want you to know that in James 1:12, the verse that stood out for me for this determinedness is, blessed is the one who remains steadfast under trial, from when he or she, in your case, has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life, which God has promised to those who love him. And so, girl, you have got that crown of life for sure. Don't ever forget it. Okay. So, thank you for sharing your blessings with us. Be true to yourself. And know that your people are going to find you when you do that. Be true to God, and you will always find him within you. You will always have a home here at First Baptist, and of course with the Bourne family. You will always belong with us and to us. And most of all, please remember that I and all of us, all these adults who know you very, very well, and the people of this church, we believe in you.
Hannah, I'm so glad I've gotten to know you over the past 2 years. What a blessing you have been to our church and the youth group. Your gentle spirit and sweet smile have been a gift to all who know you. If we could go back 4 years in time and ask you what your high school years would be like, I bet you wouldn't even come close to guessing the truth. You have been through so many changes over the years, and I know I only know a few of them. One change is coming to First Baptist. You've told us about your rich experiences at other churches, and you bring that richness with you to our fellowship. I'm so glad you made your way to us and have found a group of lifelong friends here to support you on your journey. And that includes both your fellow seniors and many of us adults too. Another change I know you experienced was actually several changes. What is it, like 20 different band directors you had during the time you were in high school? Well, I actually don't know how many it was, at least 4, right? 7, okay, 7. But I know there was a lot of transition and a lot of grieving over those you lost. Your fellow band members, your love of music, and your commitment to band helped carry you through those times. And then there's the past 2.5 months. Who could have guessed that you'd spend the last few months of your high school career away from your friends and teachers, missing out on final concerts and special celebrations? You and your fellow graduates are in uncharted territory. This is not the way it's supposed to happen. But even with challenges and changes, you have maintained a quiet grace that is an inspiration to those around you. It may not feel like it sometimes, but you are strong. Your family and your faith have given you a firm foundation on which to build. In your reflection during worship on Senior Sunday, you talked about how Jesus has always met you where you are. And I want you to know that he will continue to meet you and walk alongside you on the next steps in your journey. Draw strength from his presence. I know you will do amazing things next year at High Point University. You're already an expert at meeting new people and dealing with change in your life. Go into this next chapter knowing that you have the love and support of your family and so many here in Nashville. I know you've heard these words before here at FBCA, but they are so true, and I want to make sure you hear them especially for you. Hannah, you are a beloved child of God, and God takes great delight in you. The Bible verse I want to share is something else I know you've heard, but I pray you may find comfort and strength in these words from Isaiah 40:31. But those who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint.
Wesley, I am glad and privileged to write this affirmation. Why, may you ask? The obvious reason is that you are a really cool guy whom I've watched grow up in this church. But let us explore deeper reasons for a moment. First and foremost, you and I adhere to one guiding principle, the ABCs of life. Anybody but Carolina. They like to use the hashtag GDTBATH, good day to be a Tar Heel. And what that really means to you and I and the world is good day to be a Tar Heel hater. You know that my family are Tar Heels, so this puts me into a difficult situation. I know that every time Carolina loses, you are the first to Snapchat Emma Grace and rub it in a little bit. She says that you are the quickest and the most consistent Snapchat responder on the face of the earth. Wesley, quick snap warning. But this affirmation is not about our disdain for UNC, but it's about you, Wesley Garden. Senior 2020 and soon to be Clemson Tiger. This also puts you into another special light. You were Casey Callahan's first Tiger since coming to First Baptist Church. Everyone, take a moment to imagine a portrait of Wesley. I am not talking about his inner qualities, which we'll get to a little bit later, but what you think of Wesley. And let me share my picture. Wesley, clean cut, stylish blazer, bow tie, khaki pants, and a pair of cowboy boots. Now, mind you, the cowboy boots have never been inside a barn. No manure has ever touched those boots, but that's the way you roll. Stephanie shared a story with me that goes all the way back to the church preschool days when she taught your class. You made Stephanie almost quit church. Go AWOL, drop Jesus. Well, not quite, and I'm just kidding. That is too extreme. But her recollection of you and your classmates presented the realization that she was not cut out to be a preschool teacher. Wesley, you remind me of Caswell. The forts of Caswell have very similar qualities. They are strong and enduring. You have experienced some things in life that most never will. When you were diagnosed with cancer, I saw a young man persevere. I can never imagine the day-to-day struggles you went through, but much like the strong walls of Fort Caswell, you were steady and strong. I remember the phrase, Wesley's Warriors. I wore one of your bracelets for a long time until one day Stephanie and I were hiking on the Cheraholu Skyway in Robbinsville, North Carolina. We got to the top of a beautiful overlook, and I found a geocaching box. So I thought, what a wonderful place to share your story with others. Amid God's beauty and presence, we placed your orange bracelet in the box with a little note about you, sort of like raising you up to God and others. In Psalm 18:2, it goes like this: The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my God, my rock, in whom I take refuge, my shield and the horn of my salvation and my stronghold. Wesley, you are a rock to many of us here at First Baptist Church, especially me. You're an example of pure strength. I admire you for that. As you go to Tiger Town in the fall, always remember that God is your rock. Wesley Garvey, you are a child of God. God loves you and will always be with you. Remember, a fort protects, but you also must allow your gates to open for new friends, new experiences, and new and exciting opportunities. We wish you well, Wesley. Hear me? Nicholas Levin. Nicholas is and always has been a quiet but friendly person to those who know him. He has grown up in this church with the care of his parents and grandparents that are true pillars of this great place we worship in. He is an adventure seeker. Nicholas is an avid fisherman, not biased to freshwater or saltwater fishing. He is always a leader in fishing at a Wanata camp in the fall and Caswell Beach in the spring. He ran track in school and was very good at it. Nicholas enjoys snow skiing and goes all out on the largest slopes. Working out. Some people probably didn't know that Nicholas was a pole vaulter until he said it a few minutes ago and ruined my stuff here. But Nicholas, this year, he broke the school record. It used to be 14 feet. Now it's 14 foot 1 inch, and that's the top of the blue tape. And I'm 6'5", so you can imagine him pole vaulting that high in the air and getting over it without touching anything. I'm sure if there had been more meets this year, he could have gone higher. I think he will continue to strive for higher in a college setting. He and his brother are both Eagle Scouts. This group is going to miss him and having him around next year. Good luck in whatever you choose for yourself in the future, and remember to fly high.
Molly, it seems that there are moments in life where we feel like we're and we're able to see a little more clearly and able to hear the truth more fully. The church has long called those moments thin places. In my experience, these thin places are often found in liminal moments, when we stand at the doorway between what has been and what will be. This is not the senior Caswell you had hoped for. In fact, these past few years haven't been particularly easy. But I'm hopeful that that season, maybe even this night, would be one of those significant spaces for you. As you stand at the threshold of the life that you have known, and the life that is to be, there's nothing new to say. Instead, I'm just going to keep saying the things this community has been whispering and preaching and texting and sometimes lecturing at you, hoping that you'll hear and know and believe in the deepest parts of who you are. We believe in all the good things for you, Margaret. We hope all the good things. We dream of all the good things. And we send you through this threshold with all confidence, knowing who you are and whose you are. We know you to be brave, boldly heading to a new country without a particularly impressive Spanish vocabulary, but a big smile. We know you to be compassionate,
We're willing to listen, we're willing to share, we're willing to consider things from a new point of view. We know you to be a strong leader, showing up when it counts and always making room at the table for another. We know we can count on you to rock a great playlist. We know you to be joyful and imperfect and enthusiastic and a good friend. Molly, we see you for all that you are and all that you will be. We could not love you anymore. So a blessing for you on this, the threshold of the life that is to come. May all that is unforgiven in you be released. And may all your fears yield to deep tranquility. May all that is yet unlived in you blossom into a future overflowing with grace and love.
James, remember when we went to Moe's one day after church and you ate all the chips like a chipmunk? Or what about that one time we covered Kate's office door in pictures of himself back when box lunch was just beginning? Most of the memories we've shared during your time in the youth group consist of laughing till it hurts. I know I can always count on you for a good laugh and your willingness to goof around. I've known you for a while now, and it's still weird to think your time has come to transition out of the youth group and on to your next adventure at Wofford College. Fortunately, I've had the privilege over the last 7 years of really getting to know you. You are witty, hilarious, creative, and kind. You may not realize it, but you have the capability to captivate a room with your wit and humor combined. You are creative. A little bird even told me that you took so many art classes in high school that you made it into AP Art. Now, I know from experience that you can't study for art. You just have to create. And that isn't easy. Being able to create is a gift. And you have it, James. Above all, your kindness is apparent in your friendships. You are a dedicated friend, and you show up for the people who are most important in your life. And that is a trait that I hope you will carry with you forever. As you transition into college, take these traits with you. I know at this age, a lot feels uncertain, but it's a good type of uncertainty. Be open to change, make new friends, and cherish those friendships. Now, new friends aren't about forgetting your old friends. It's about expanding your horizon and cultivating lasting friendships with people you will likely have in your life forever. No matter where you go to college or what you decide to do, it's really about the people you meet and the memories you make. I mean, yeah, get that degree too. That's important, I guess. But cherish what you are doing and who you are surrounded with in the moment. You will never forget it, and you will always be thankful for it. And James, remember that no matter where you go, or who you meet, or what path you take, you will always have your friends and family to come home to, and you will always have your church family. Remember that you are a child of God, and God takes great delight in you. I know that you have an exciting path ahead of you, and I can't wait to see what you find along the way. Be yourself and live in the moment. You will go far. And remember, in the wise words of Michael Scott, sometimes I'll start a sentence and I don't even know where it's going. I just hope I find it along the way. So, here's to finding yourself along the way, the adventures you will have, and the friends you will make. Good luck, James.
Dear sweet Claire, little did we know the abundance that First Baptist Church of Asheville would provide for our family when we came 6 years ago. So many gifts of friendship have come through the youth program. Your friendship to Anna Rose and our family has been one of those blessings. You are loving, kind, gentle, fun, and your adventurous spirit has added so much to the entire senior class and the youth group. You're wonderful about keeping people connected, especially church friends. You've been a leader in this youth group through your participation and actions. You've been so faithful with First Shine through the summers and your work with PEP at school at TC. You've been a committed athlete through travel volleyball and at school. I've been amazed at your ability to get to youth group around your busy sports schedule. You've mastered a way to balance it all, and that's so impressive. Carry that skill with you to Appalachian State. Keep up the balance between studies, fun, activities, quiet time, and relationships. My greatest hope for you is that you will take time in your days to have some quiet and reflection. Spend moments alone with God so you can recognize when He is speaking to you. Trust His voice in moments of doubt and fear. He will help you navigate your way through college and beyond. Seek Him, Claire, for He is the greatest love and companion you will ever know. When I read Colossians 3:12, it says, "Therefore, as God's chosen ones, holy and dearly loved, put on compassion, gentleness, and patience." I read that scripture and I think of you. You are filled with compassion, gentleness, and patience. You are and will continue to be a great asset to this world, Claire, with all of your gifts. I pray God's blessings and protection over you as you head off to college. Always know you have a home at 27 Hemlock Road, even if Anna Rose is home or not. We love you dearly.
We have one final part of this rite that we're going to celebrate now. And I'm going to ask Margaret if you'll just come right here first and bring that sweatshirt and hold it up for those who might not be able to see. It's tradition that seniors receive at Caswell a special hooded sweatshirt. Why would you give out a hooded sweatshirt in summer on the spring retreat? I don't know. We just keep doing it. That's kind of our traditions here. We just stick with those things that stick out and make us unique. This is a hooded sweatshirt, and you'll see our alumni wearing this for years and years later. And it's got some Greek letters there. So because it's been a while since some of us had our Greek, let's freshen up. On the left is the Phi, which is the first letter of the word philia, which is brotherly and sisterly love, because what you all share is deeper than just friendship. It's a bond that's always there. Like family, you can leave and always come home, and the same love remains. And you have that with each other and with our church. The last letter on the right is the Kappa. It's like a K, and that's for koinonia. Yes, we have it on Sunday afternoons, typically, but koinonia is the word in the New Testament that describes Christian community. It somehow helped give this idea of a Christian community of fellowship that involved worship and offering, a give and a take. It was a unique word for those Christians, koinonia, and so we have that. And in the middle is the Chi Rho. It's like an X and it looks like a P. It's those first two letters of the Christ monogram, the initials of his last name, or the last name, the Christ. And it is our community as a koinonia, as a body of Christ, our love as sisters and brothers that bring us together around Christ. So this is kind of like our, this is our going away thing to help you always remember this is the place that reminds you, you always belong here. This is about a threshold past youth group. We're standing on the steps of a sanctuary that's been in existence for almost 100 years. This is about the body of Christ. It's not just about this one point in your life, but wherever you find yourself. So you'll all receive these sweatshirts, and a younger youth will come and bring those to you and put those in your containers, and you'll also receive a trail mark of the Caswell tree. We'll have this, and then we'll have a final word, and we'll conclude our rite of passage. I'm going to invite all our younger youth to come in line and deliver these sweatshirts to our seniors. So typically this would have been done about 4 hours from now. We would be huddled up. The room would be dark at this point, and your family would be on the back, and the youth would be there, and the room would be aglow with your candles. And we sit there, and our final words, we sing these words together. I'm just going to speak them. I believe that love wins. I believe in starting again. We're not alone in the middle of our night. In the darkest hour, there's always a light. So I pray for you. May you hold those words and those memories together. And as you go far from here or come back here, may you know that the light is always kindled. The light of God living in you, moving among you, working through you. And may you find that light also beckoning you to come back here and continue to share your gifts and your stories with our church. Before you leave, may you take a pillar candle and you place that in your bin. And when you take that, remind you that in the darkest hour of your life, wherever that may be and whenever that may be, that you're never alone. There's always a light, the light of Christ that will shine through. So, for our youth here and our college students, after this benediction, I would invite you to come, keep your distance, but come and grab a tank top. We have Caswell tank tops. We've never done tank tops. I've always said no to the idea of tank tops. But if you're ever going to say yes to tank tops, it's this year. In fact, our seniors also got flip-flops. They got sliders. I mean, they can just wear tank tops and sliders forever right now. They can do that and still call in on a business meeting through Zoom. No one would know. So, youth and students, if you'll come up and they're organized by size, you can get you a tank top. You also can receive a small candle to take with you. May you know that this, hold that candle, put that somewhere where you remember this event, this senior class. What they have built is something that will outlast them. It will outlast us. It's something that's not about a structured building. It's not about a location at the beach or a one-time event. What you have done is build up the body of Christ through our youth group and our community. We've gone to Cuba. We've gone down the street. We've gone to other churches for worship. What you've done is beautiful and will continue to live and flourish. So may you remember that, and youth, you will come at the end of this benediction. So I'm going to ask our seniors to stand where you are. One more round of applause. And again, thank you for your participation, for your lovely honks. Remember that we will be making a video of this to share with all of the youth, their families. And if you had any trouble hearing anything, we'll make those obviously available for everybody to have to watch again the comfort of your homes as well. Receive now this benediction. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you his peace now and forever. Amen. Go in peace.